Good morning, or good evening, or good whatever time it is. Good night, maybe. Since maybe you consider the occult to be something that takes place in deep, mysterious darkness. Obscure rooms, underground temples with walls and floors covered in incomprehensible symbols. Okay, let me take you on a magical mystery tour of the occult. Occult means hidden or covered. It has nothing to do with darkness, but with light penetrating into darkness. Occultism is a kind of science, scientia occulta, that employs instruments unknown to ordinary material science. There are very few physical instruments except some symbolical ceremonial objects. A simple hammer may become a symbol of will. A sword, the symbol of its penetrating and clear-cutting power. A flower may be a symbol of life. Such objects, colors, and often complex drawn symbols are carriers of meaning and content aimed at both explaining how things work in the unseen, at inducing subliminal information to the participants. The ceremonial deployment of symbols, symbolical objects, characters wearing masks or symbolical garments may to most look like a piece of theater. It is not. It is instruction, transmission of a certain level of insight and knowledge from those who know to those who seek to know. In a certain way, this is school, and it takes place in specially designated places and mostly within occult societies and orders. In school you learn logic and mathematics. The teaching follows a pattern, step by step. The more you advance, the more complicated and abstract it becomes, and you learn to handle a very complex symbolism. You may with talent and perseverance end up as a mathematician. The occult is not much different. Degree by degree, you develop the capacity to understand and combine the symbols into formula of meaning. By such teaching, you may come to understand a number of basic principles of occultism. But there is a limit to how far it may take you. Even the most advanced mathematician will at some point hit a wall, and so will you. The symbolical teaching is just a groundwork. All occult practices aim at the development of the individual consciousness and the execution of willpower in order to know that which lies behind and beyond appearances, behind that which appears also to our superficial senses. This is often not understood even by orders and societies that designate themselves as occult. There is a lot of make-believe in what should most correctly be recognized as a marketplace of illusion and gullibility. There is in the general public a lot of misconception to what occult actually is. Often Freemasonry, Druidism, Pythagoreanism, Rosicrucianism, Templarism, and similar quite open orders and organizations are considered occult. But this is only to a very small extent true. They operate symbolically and they transmit a certain knowledge leaning towards the mystic, but their reach is limited. The principal reason such orders and societies are seen as occult is that they stick to a certain level of secrecy. This secrecy, however, is mostly held to ensure that a new member may have a first-degree experience of the rites of introductory ceremonies. This is to say that the main impact of the experience will be lost to the newcomer if he knows exactly what will take place. In fact, one may consider the beginning of every day in this way. You may have ideas about what will happen that day, due to your habits, but you do not really know. Something very unexpected may happen, and you will have a first-hand experience that you are not entirely unprepared, and therefore it will leave a mark on your mind. Thus every day is a secret until ended. Now occultism is an entirely different piece of cake. It is an introductory phase. You may receive teachings by use of symbolical ceremonies and rituals. Employed are symbols of astrology, alchemy, Kabbalah, magic, and tarot. These symbols are manipulated in a way that has been developed over a long period of time. Stationary and moving symbols, masks and costumes, light, colors, and symbol-rich spoken words interplay almost like in a piece of theater. But it is teaching, instruction, and if it is correctly executed, it will subliminally bring a message to the individual participant that will work in his or her consciousness. The first ceremony will, in most occult orders, be followed by a second, a third, and more, each building upon each other and deepening the initial message. Before each grade, there is a serious test to prove qualifications to advance. Step by step, the individual concerned will learn how things work at certain levels of reality and, if successful, be prepared for deeper dives. I have to remark here that orders who manage such true occult work are not those that the public knows by name. They are occult in the true sense and unknown. I also have to underscore that even so, the ceremonial or ritual work in its completeness is a preparatory stage. The deeper dive can only take place when the individual has carried out the inner work that it was indicated symbolically in the ceremonial work. This is often a long haul, many years of psychic work and meditation. This is also when we may truly start to talk about the occult, for this cannot find any outward expression. It is inner work. Often it is necessary to have a mentor, a guide, a master for a period of time. One who has the experience and knowledge, one who knows how to read you. At times the individual opens up to an inner guide or master and may work alone. This is all about developing and expanding consciousness, a reach into the vastness of cosmic reality. I have talked about this briefly before, without mentioning the mystic experience, the entering into mystical reality. Yet this is where the occult moves beyond itself. I have explained consciousness in very comprehensible terms, indicating how it may be understood as spheres structured from human position, where the cognitive, awake consciousness seems to be our center, or at least the point from where we experience reality. Now you need to imagine this center as integrated in a series of spheres, where the mineral grows into the biological, growing into the psychic, into the mental cognitive presence of you. Around you are the spiritual, the transcendental spheres flowing into the endless cosmic. When you start to move out of the human limitations, you will see the world in a different way. The material world kind of dissolves, and at the same time your experience is a flow of what can only be compared to an all-embracing love. This is the spiritual field of light, easing your progress before you can reach into the disturbing and dangerous transcendental sphere of human contradictions. Here are also the fields of death that you need to traverse. If your occult teaching takes you this far, you really need to apply all your capacity here and work your way out of it while taking on board every lesson. Understanding in deep ways the human condition at this level operate a deep change in your living personality. You will know where you are in every relation. Illumination, ecstasy, is to touch the consciousness of the eternal cosmos with your own fragment. This experience of light is the ultimate human mystical experience. It will rearrange the total understanding of your own life. You become a different being. This may seem an impossible thing, but I may refer to religion once again, and here in a positive way. Most true mystics have been religious. Their understanding of the religious impulse comes directly from the cosmic. Their individual consciousness has been prepared in a way similar to that which true occultism enables, and enlightenment has come like a lightning flash. Their interpretation of this experience has obviously been colored by their beliefs, their faith, or religion, but whichever form they have given their account, it is the same root. God is their interpretation of the cosmic consciousness, the being that is. The occult and the mystery are deeply connected. There is an operative side and there is an inner side. The operative side is progressive and forms steps towards initiation, which I have to a certain degree described here. In the next podcast, I will address initiation in a slightly different way.